Immortality. By 2050, it may only require swapping for a silicon-based brain. Many believe physical aging marks the end of human life. But let me tell you, from a higher dimensional perspective, this carbon-based body is merely a disposable protective suit that can be cast aside at any time. True immortality is never about repairing these perishable proteins. It means separating your consciousness, what the ancients call the primordial spirit, completely from the physical body, and uploading it to wear free silicon-based chips. This video only presents the creator's personal speculation, not factual truth. Please watch rationally. This idea sounds like science fiction. Yet if you open those dust-covered ancient books, you will find truths hidden by myths that have long hinted at this future. Let's start with a story recorded in Lizi, Tongwen, one that would send chills down modern scientists' spines. When King Mu of Zhou traveled west, at the foot of the Kunlun Mountains, he met a remarkable man named Yanxi. Yanxi presented a human-like automaton. It could sing and dance, move nimbly, and even flirt with King Mu's concubines. Enraged, King Mu thought it was a living person in disguise, and ordered Yanxi's execution. Calmly, Yanxi took the automaton apart in public. The scene was pure cyberpunk over 2,000 years ago. Inside lay components made of wood, fur, glue, and lacquer. Red parts represented the liver, white ones the lungs. Yanxi pointed to a core wooden piece and said, "This is its spirit." Here comes the most eerie detail. When Yanxi removed a part from the automaton's head, its memory and thought vanished instantly. Removing a component near the heart robbed it of speech. Is this merely ancient imagination? How could people 2,000 years ago precisely describe modular consciousness and hardware determinism? Replace wood with superconducting materials, fur with sensors, and that core wood with an AI chip, and you get a top-tier humanoid robot. The ancients may have witnessed advanced civilizations that achieved eternal life spanning millennia by implanting consciousness into non-biological carriers. To them, switching carriers was as simple as changing phone cases for us. Now turn to bizarre soul transference tales and records of the strange. There is a famous account. A scholar was buried, yet half a month later reappeared in a city thousands of miles away. He returned home with identical personality, memories, even the scar from stealing candy as a child. Only his body had changed into that of a recently deceased merchant. The ancients saw this as divine intervention. But from a 2050 perspective, it is essentially successful data migration. When the old physical server breaks down and crashes, the operator extracts core consciousness data and urgently downloads it to a newly available hardware terminal before network transmission fails. In the future silicon-based era, you will no longer be a flesh and blood human, but an eternally running, freely transferable string of code. When your memories, emotions, and logic are digitized, the so-called underworld may well be a massive cloud server, operating in ultra-low temperatures. Why are top tech tycoons racing to develop brain-computer interfaces? Because they see evolution's ceiling. Carbon-based life has fixed metabolic limits. The Hayflick limit tells us human cells stop dividing after roughly 50 times. No matter how many expensive supplements you take, this decades-old physical generator suffers irreversible mental fatigue in its parts. A silicon-based brain, by contrast, has millions of times more computing power than carbon-based brains. It needs no sleep, as electrical signals transmit without fatigue. It suffers no depression or anxiety, for you can delete useless emotional baggage with one click. Most importantly, it achieves physical immortality. Ancient practitioners sought transcendence and rebirth, casting off mortal flesh. In modern terms, this is simply a complete hardware upgrade. Zhuangzi wrote, "The form may decay, yet the spirit remains whole. As long as your unique spirit, your core logic, and personality persist, does it truly matter whether its vessel is carbohydrates or high-purity silicon wafers? If a life form holds all your childhood memories, your deep love for your parents, all your talents and dreams, yet dwells in an everlasting, tireless vessel, is it not a more advanced evolutionary form than you?" This evolution, however, brings extreme cruelty. Once immortality becomes technology, it is no longer a natural right, but a commodity. Wealth gaps will no longer lie in houses or cars, but in computing power. Elites with advanced silicon-based brains Think at lightning speed. Their thoughts spanning millennia in an instant. Their lifespans measured in 10,000-year units. Ordinary people who retain carbon-based bodies and cannot afford costly upgrades may seem slow-moving ants, with lifespans of mere decades in their eyes. This is the ultimate horror behind immortality. It is not meant for everyone to live longer, but to complete cross-species evolution and shatter the illusion of universal equality forever. When physical bodies are no longer essential for life, death, long feared by humanity, becomes a technical glitch avoidable via cloud backup. When that day comes, will we reclaim the lost power of ancient gods, or trap ourselves in an eternally running, inescapable cyber prison? Speaking of consciousness uploading and silicon-based immortality, have you considered a more chilling question? If the ultimate future of technology is simulated consciousness, could you, sitting here scrolling through videos, experiencing birth, aging, sickness, and death, be merely a simulation program run by an advanced being within a silicon-based world? In the next video, we will discuss an even more spine-tingling topic. Why do ancient records of divine descents detail events identical to modern spacesuits and thrusters? Could the gods we have worshipped for thousands of years actually be technical expeditions from nearby galaxies?